Welcome back. This is the Weiner Wellness Week, day 5.
Hey, I don't know.
5? Yeah, it's Thursday, guys. It's Thursday. We have our special guest at our noon hour today, Mr. Mac Haynes, right? Yes, Mac Haynes.
Hey, you got
Mac,
it.
all week long, folks, you've been hearing us talk about a new product that we brought in called IgG. You heard Dr. Len Brancovitz talk about how he has incorporated it so successfully into his practice with all of his patients. No, he doesn't discriminate. He brings everybody in on this. And Dr. Len, he's used he's used our GI Complete forever, but now he has a staple, and it's this 1-2 punch, and it's our new IgG. And that product is brought to us by Entera Health. And Mac Haynes is going to give us the lowdown on this amazing new nutrient, all the case studies, all the science, everything you need. Take it away, Mac.
A little bit on our. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep, there you go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I think I lost them a little bit. Can you guys hear me all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So I'll pull up my slides here, but talk a little bit about Immunolin. And customers today are seeing. I will pull in here from the beginning. Perfect. Can everyone see that all right? I'll take that as a yes. Awesome.
Yes, so yes, we can see it. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go through here. Perfect. So I'm a client. I work at health. Recently, I was born and raised in rural Southwest Iowa. Been an Iowa boy my entire life. That's actually where we're located, is in Des Moines, Iowa. Went to Iowa State University to get my bachelor's in science, got in business marketing and management, and then spent a lot of time outdoors, spending time with my family, my fiance up there at the top right, you can see, and support my clones. Excited for the tournament coming up, and I hopefully can make a big run. Presentation focus. So obviously Hippocrates, and we all understand that all disease begins in the gut. So if we can heal up that gut lining, again, it's just going to give everyone a healthier, happier life in the long run. So today I'll be talking about what is Entera Health and Immunolin, how does it work, the research and clinical experience, and then Nutritional Frontiers IgG product. Entera Health was founded in 2011. We're headquartered in Ankeny, Iowa, just outside of Des Moines. We're a privately held biotech company. We do a lot of R&D, but just happen to have this great protein antibody that's great for GI health. So in 2013, we actually launched a prescription medical food. It's called Interrogam, and that's used for people with IBS, IBD, Sibo, basically just leaky gut. It's a great product for that. And then we got approval by the FDA to lower the dose into the supplement market for companies like Nutritional Frontiers to launch Immunolin-based products that, again, at a lower dose, it's a key lock mechanism that does the exact same thing that our medical food, Interrogam, would have done as well. So what is Immunolin? What exactly is going on in the gut lining, and how does it work? I'll be explaining all that through this presentation, but it's just a serum-derived bovine immunoglobulin protein isolate, or SBI just for short. It's agglomerated of 92% protein, so it's a very clean protein you're taking in, and it's 60% immunoglobulins, which 50%, actually on our new specs, it's 60%, which is a great new studies that we have, that it's an even higher IgG concentration, double the amount of any competitor in the market. So you're going to get the cleanest and the purest IgG concentration than any other product you might run across that has IgG in it. So it contains, it's backed by over 45 human clinical trials. I think on mine it says 40, but we have 45 and more going on currently. And it's free of lactose, gluten, soy, dyes, pesticides, antibiotics, and hormones, which we know cause GI distress. How does it work? So you got to look at the plasma proteins. We're pulling this from a whole blood. So what we're doing is we are going to take that plasma, reduce it down to a serum, and then reduce that down to get that hard, dense antibody or that immunoglobulin. We know that blood, obviously circulating our system, carries great nutrients for us. And if we can pull out something that actually goes after the bad guys in the GI lining and use it as a supplement, we're going to live a healthier, happier life. Immunolin also contains less than 1% blood fraction. So when you get down to Immunolin, it's about 0.04% blood fraction. And you got to look at, why are we having GI distress? Why is that customer coming in and grabbing all these different supplements to treat their GI distress? What's going on is there's this bad bacteria and these bad antigens that are slipping through that gut barrier wall. As you can see, it's having a toxins install the epithelial layer or the gut lining, and it's causing inflammation in the gut. It's getting down to your immune cells below, and they're just causing inflammation, which is just charring up the gut, just giving you GI distress all around. It's just going to make you, obviously, give you abdominal discomfort, diarrhea, bloating, and flatulence. So it's just a constant cycle these patients or these customers are in, that they can never go after that bad guy that's causing the GI distress. And what you have with Nutritional Frontiers IgG is something that goes after the bad guy. So how exactly does it go after the bad guy? Where it really works is that patients in that intestinal disorder, like I was talking about, and we're going to bind onto the microbial components or that bad bacteria and those bad antigens that cause inflammation in the gut. By binding, neutralizing, and removing it from the system, you're going after the cause of the GI distress before it can happen. Now this gives your immune cells a chance to actually work for you. They're going to send out anti-inflammatory cytokines, which is going to reduce the inflammation, give that gut barrier a chance to contract, and build a healthy gut barrier. So now nothing will slip through anymore. And over time, you're going to be able to improve the nutrient utilization. You're going to be able to take in more water, more protein, and more nutrients that give us a healthier, happier life. How does that look? Again, we were talking about the gut barrier. As you can see there in the top left in that little circle, everything in green is going to be that bad bacteria, those bad antigens causing GI distress, your lipopolysaccharides, flagellin moving things around, E. coli, all these harmful bacteria that cause inflammation. Everything in the little Y shape is going to be Immunolin, or this antibody binding onto it, increasing its overall size so it can't slip through the gut barrier wall, and removing it from the system. Over time, when you reduce antigen uptake, your immune cells are going to work for you. You're going to be able to maintain your GI immune balance, giving that gut barrier a chance to contract again, like I was talking, and build those healthy tight junction proteins, as you can see there in that circle. Over time, again, your patients are going to be able to improve their nutrient utilization, for taking in more water, protein, without having that GI distress, maybe from eating the wrong foods, and again, just a healthier, happier life. What exactly does it bind to? Is it just grabbing onto one bacteria? No, what we know of right now is it binds onto about 40 different types of whole bacteria, as well as stuff moving bacteria. And again, this is just the harmful bacteria. If you're taking a probiotic, we do have studies that show that there is no drug-to-drug interaction. Again, the good bacteria is going to be fed with that probiotics, while the Immunolin or Nutritional Frontiers IgG will actually pull out the bad guys. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch. They're great products to work together with, but yeah, Nutritional Frontiers IgG is going to be able to bind onto things like lipopolysaccharide. Today, we'll be talking a little about the C-Diff toxins A and B. Kind of an aha moment for a lot of our gastroenterologists is you have something that actually goes after C-Diff, which would be their toxins A and B. So by being able to remove that, you can stop the problem before it occurs. Also, as you can see at the bottom there, others include E. coli, H. pylori, Staphylococcus, are all different types of bacteria that Immunolin or this antibody can actually bind onto and remove from the system. This is all being pulled from a bovine source. And the reason for that is, if, again, you put these two microbiomes together and you take out human and bovine, they look very identical. It's because the microbiomes between the two are very, very, very similar. So, and also when you're looking at all disease begins in the gut and you're looking at stomachs, a cow's going to have about 4 different stomachs. So if it's someone that's got a robust immune system, it's definitely going to come from a bovine source. So that's the reason we're taking that immunoglobulin antibody from that source. Research and clinical experience. This is a very heavily studied antibody. Immunolin has been studied extensively since 2012, over 45 and still more published clinical manuscripts. And I'm going to go through a couple today. That's going to be on IBS, C-Diff, and Sibo, which we know are very hot now in the market, and you have now a product that can go after those problems. So the first study we have here was a 6-week trial. It's going to go over patients that were having IBS-D, but we know that's a whole range of other issues. It's not just diarrhea. It's going to be people loose stools, abdominal discomfort, urgency, bloating, and flatulence. And in that 6 weeks, giving 5 grams of Immunolin, these patients were seeing a reduction there in 40%, 30% of these problems. So if you could give that patient or that customer 40% of their life back to them, they're obviously going to want to run with it and get it done. So you have something here that's going to go after that underlying cause of IBS-D and remove it, giving that gut barrier a chance to heal. And again, just overall give them a healthier, happier life. On this next trial we had, this is a Sibo trial that we did. It's for IBS-D patients, again, those patients that were having all those problems, as well as IBS-M. IBS-M is a gut barrier issue. Those are the people that may be constipated one day and then go to diarrhea. And we know with Immunolin, if we can heal up that gut barrier, they're not going to have those problems anymore. So those that were given a lactose breath test and they tested positive, they were given a broad spectrum antibiotic. In this case, it would have been rifaximin. We know that 50% of patients can be refractory with rifaximin just because that antibiotic goes after the bad bacteria, but it also takes away the good bacteria in the gut barrier. So if you can use something that just goes after the bad bacteria, you're going to be much healthier, of course. So when they were refractory, they're given 4 weeks of SBI, and then they're given a lactose breath test, and they were negative. They were just given other traditional therapies. And if that didn't work, again, they were thrown 4 weeks of Immunolin. Immunolin for those refractory IBS-D and Sibo patients. So for those binge purgers, I was talking about the IBS-M, their success rate, they were seeing 88% of the patients saw success, while with the IBS-D patients, they were seeing 69%. For the negative lactose breath test, those were just given traditional therapies. They were 77% success rate, while the positive lactose breath test saw a 73% success rate. So if 50% of patients are going to be refractory to that broad spectrum antibiotic, why don't you just skip the middleman and use something here that can actually go to their underlying cause of their GI distress? And again, it's going to be a great product for any of those patients having those problems. And then post-infectious IBS-D and C-Diff. Like I was talking about earlier, Immunolin does bind on to toxins A and B. So this was just another trial I threw up here by Dr. Carl Crawford using Immunolin of
We're having a little bit of a connection issue here with Mac. He's going to have to talk to the hotel manager and make sure they beef up their Wi-Fi a little bit. I don't know where he's traveling at this point, but we have a little disconnect here. Is he gone? All right, so we're going to try to get him back for you. In the meantime, let's look at the importance of this type of a product, because if you see anything, if you still watch TV and you see these commercials, the ones for IBS and Crohn's and what all these different variations, they're still saturating the TV. And what are they doing? They're giving you drugs and steroids that give you a little bit of relief, but the problem hasn't been addressed. That hasn't been addressed. It's going to keep coming back. And they even say in their ads, to manage this disease. That's what the drugs are doing. They're managing the disease and they're managing the symptoms. What we're talking about here with immunoglobulin and Immunolin is correcting the problem not managing the symptoms. Because when you correct the problem, you remove the cause. This is the difference. Ideally, this is the difference across the board with what you're going to get from a drug in allopathic medicine and what you're going to get with a functional nutritional approach to an issue. I don't even want to call it a disease, because as soon as you call it a disease, then, it's all about drugs, because only drugs can treat a disease. That's by the Fraud and Deception Agency, commonly known as the FDA. But this is not what we do in functional nutrition. What we do is get to the cause. And previously, we relied almost exclusively in this early stages of finding the cause and correcting it on a formulation like GI Complete, which it should still be a part of this protocol. Like Dr. Len said, he uses these two together now. He said this is the greatest add to a protocol he has ever seen in his practice, because he routinely has told us that every single patient that walks in his door goes on GI Complete. Everyone, because he knows they all have some sort of damage, some sort of mucosal damage, some sort of damage to the lining, to the integrity of the digestive system. And remember, the digestive system is not just the stomach, it's not just the intestines, it's the entire system from the esophagus through the anus. And at any point there, you could have tissue deterioration. That is going to then allow bad bacteria to enter. And then once it's in there, let's say we secure the intestinal wall with GI Complete. What about the bacteria that's already in there that's causing all of these symptoms? Now we have the answer. And the answer to that is immunoglobulins. This source of immunoglobulins that we have now brought in to the world of wellness through Nutritional Frontiers. Now this will bind, remember, here's the three words you don't want to forget. It will bind, neutralize, and remove these pathogens, these bad bacteria. Okay? Memorize that. Bind, neutralize, and remove them. So you get rid of them. That doesn't mean you don't need GI Complete, because you want to reinforce the wall so no new ones get in. There's a double edge to this process, because when the integrity of the intestinal wall is compromised, not only do bacteria get in, but nutrients get out. That's the leaky gut portion of this whole thing. He's back. Mac,
I'm back.
I was covering for you. All right, buddy. Hey,
Sorry
get on
about
that
that.
hotel guy and tell him to get a better Wi-Fi.
I know. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Did you guys? When did I lose connection? Do you remember what slide I was on?
Yeah, it was it was the second study side, I think.
Okay, on Sibo.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to restart that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So here was a study by Leonard Weinstock out of St. Louis. It was on Sibo patients as well as IBS-D and IBSM, which again are those binge purgers, those that have diarrhea some days, as well as constipation. We know that's a gut barrier issue. So with an Immunolin product or Nutritional Frontiers IgG, if we can heal up that leaky gut, that gut barrier, they're going to live a healthier, happier life. So those that were lactulose breath test positive were given a traditional broad spectrum antibiotic. And then we know that patients are kind of 50% on being refractory to that, because it goes after the bad bacteria, but it also takes all the good bacteria out of there. And if you use an Immunolin product, it just goes after the bad bacteria. So when they were refractory, they were given 4 weeks of SBI. And then those that were lactulose breath test negative were just given a traditional therapy. And if they were unresponsive, they were given 4 weeks of Immunolin. And the results for this were great. Those that were in the IBSM, again, those binge purgers saw an 88% success rate using an Immunolin product, as well as the IBS-D patients saw up to 70% success rate. Those that were negative lactose breath tests saw a 77% increase in success rate. And then those were positive lactose breath tests. Again, those that take that traditional antibiotic and are unresponsive or refractory to it, once they were given a Immunolin product, they were positive and saw a success rate up to 73%. So why not just take out the middleman, all those traditional therapies, and go straight to an Immunolin product that's going to go to that underlying cause, pulling out that bad bacteria, giving that gut barrier a chance to heal, and taking more water and nutrients. And then on
Hey, Mac, can you go to full screen on your presentation there?
Is it not on full screen?
No, it's showing.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
slideshow.
There you go.
Perfect. And we'll get there. And then post-infectious IBS-D and C-Diff, another area I wanted to talk about today. Kind of an aha moment for a lot of doctors is you can diagnose C-Diff from a mile away. It's just an awful smell. And your patients are just going through the worst of it when they have a C-Diff infection. So you have something here, an Immunolin product that goes after the C-Diff toxins A and B. And what we're showing here by Dr. Carl Crawford in the conclusion is because of SBI, serum bovine immunoglobulin, or just Immunolin, you're able to manage those IBS-D and add the ability to bind onto C-Diff toxins. This plays a valuable role in both the management of post-infectious IBS as well as binding on to, again, C-Diff and stopping C-Diff before it can occur. So this can be a great product for those doctors to use in the office as well as patients to take to help reduce and limit the amount or possibility of C-Diff.
Hey, Mac, when you say it's identifiable by an awful smell, I mean, for people that don't know, I mean, tell them where, how.
Tell them where and how the smell's at, or
yeah.
So this would be in your hospitals. Like these C-Diff patients are on a whole nother floor themselves. It's something where people have to go in. It looks like kind of like ET when they're putting in all those different outfits and all the white and cover the mask. They have to go in there because the smell is so horrendous. You don't want to be near this bacteria. You don't want to get it yourself. So
now, and it's coming out, I mean, through even their breath, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's coming out of all those different
every orifice. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'll say it for you.
It's something you don't want. And you got a product here that can actually stop it from happening.
Oh, that's huge. Yes.
And then SBI reduces as well as dietary endotoxemia. This is a clinical trial at the University of North Texas just to showcase at 1 gram to 5 grams with our medical food. This is a key lock mechanism. This antibody moves to the GI tract, takes out that harmful bacteria, as I was talking, and removes it from the body. So what you have with the Nutritional Frontiers IgG is something, again, even at 1 gram to taking 2 scoops at 2 grams, it's just going to work through the GI tract and remove the bad guys from the system. So it's going to be a great product for you to take just to help reduce that inflammation within the gut and live that healthier, happier life.
Hey, Mac, you're going to go over dosing at some point through this, or should we talk about it now?
Yep, I'll go over dosing.
Okay.
Yep. Nutritional uptake and utilization. I know I talked a little bit about this earlier in that one slide showing the mechanism of action, but this is just to showcase in those 75 studies of data from 43 publications, patients, when they do have a healthier gut barrier lining, taking Immunolin, their lean body mass increases 34%, food intake increased 23%, and that protein utilization increased 9%. So again, that healthier gut lining, taking in more nutrients, more water, retaining it, and just living that healthier, happier life. Some more clinical trial and scientific. Obviously, this just isn't for IBS-D, Sibo, and C-Diff. We're in the IBD as well. Our medical food is used for that at 5 grams. That'll just be for those Crohn's and colitis patients, HIV-associated enteropathy. If there's anything on here that sticks out to anyone, I'm going to leave my number and my email at the end of this presentation. I would love to send you that clinical trial so you can go over it yourself. If it's something that maybe you manage, your celiac patients, all different types of areas that Immunolin's been used.
So it has been used with celiac.
Yes, absolutely. So those celiac, those gluten sensitivity patients, they when they break down that gluten, it becomes gliadin, and we know that Immunolin actually binds onto gliadin and removes that from the system as well. So it's great for those patients. We'll have Dr. Cynthia Reuter will be doing a presentation, I believe, late April for us on Immunolin and how she's been using it in her practice to bind onto gliadin and remove from the system, help manage those gluten sensitivity patients.
Now, will this help to bind and remove this leftover gluten residue that we haven't been able to digest and process?
That is a great question. That R&D, I'll make sure to reach out and send to you guys after this. I'm sure they would be able to explain more on that die-off
Okay.
because we know
Okay.
when obviously that dead bacteria or that good bacteria from probiotics dies off, we know Immunolin does bind onto that and remove it, so that isn't harmful for you. So yes, I'll make sure to reach out to R&D and get that to everyone.
Okay. Thanks.
And then Nutritional Frontiers, IgG. You guys did a great job on the flavoring. They sent me some samples. It's amazing, guys. I take it every day. You just put it in your water. It's a 20-second stir. Again, this is a highly concentrated protein antibody. So it just takes about 20 seconds to stir or shake up, and then it goes right into solution. It tastes great. We usually say it's great to take an Immunolin product at mealtime just because that's when our hands are touching our mouths and we're just exposed to more bacteria and antigens throughout the day. It's the only flavored Immunolin product in the market, which is great. It's benign in flavor, but when you add something as great as like a lemon, lime, or a raspberry, it's just a great product overall that you can take on the go. And yeah, just great overall. Avoid mixing it in alcohol. I'm just checking the block there.
I can't. Yeah. So I can't believe you even have to put that on there. But okay.
Probably shouldn't be putting this in our margaritas, even though that lemon lime tastes great.
Yeah.
And then don't be putting it in your carbonated beverages just because that carbonation just doesn't let it go into solution. And again, this is already flavored, so mixing it in your waters is going to be fine.
Yep.
Nutritional Frontiers product is at 1 gram. So for your maybe more mild patients, that 1 gram is going to be enough for them. That's going to be something that's going to help them, again, turn over that new tissue in the gut and remove the harmful antigens causing that GI distress. If this is someone that you maybe have kind of thrown the kitchen sink at, you used everything at them, and just nothing's working for them, we would like to say maybe 2 to 3 scoops would be better. You get up to that 3 gram mark. Again, it's just going to overload the amount of bacteria in the GI tract. And yeah, it's just going to help reduce that inflammation. Again, get them back to homeostasis within the GI tract.
So, do you use the same amount of water, whether or not you're using 1, 2, or 3 scoops?
Again, that's up. It might take a little bit longer of a stir. I think with the 1 gram, we say about 8 ounces of water is fine. But if you were to do 3 grams, I would just say a regular water bottle would be fine.
Okay.
And here's the top 5 reasons, again, why everyone should take Nutritional Frontiers IgG. It's safe. It has GRAS status with the FDA with no major adverse events. It works differently. It targets the underlying cause of dysbiosis. 3, it's backed by real science, over 40 plus successful human clinical trials. You're not going to find another product in the market with this many clinical trials behind it. It's easy to use. Mix it, shake it, take it on the go. And anyone can take it, ages 2 plus, for anyone wanting to improve their digestive health, their immune support, and overall wellness.
Hey, Mac, let me ask you this. A lot of, we use a lot of powdered formulas.
Mm-hmm.
And we always get the question, when I mix it, do I have to drink the whole thing all at once, or can I sip it over the course of, an hour or 2? What about this?
You could sip it as long as you want, especially in water. It's not going to denature the proteins over time. So if this is something that you're just sipping on, like a tea, it's going to be great. You're not going to have any problems there with denaturing anything.
Okay. And it's just as efficacious.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good.
And it does survive the entire GI tract. So anything from the gut all the way down to the colon, this thing is going to be able to move through, bind onto that harmful bacteria. So great product all through the GI tract, and it's going to improve, again, your overall wellness.
Okay. Gotcha.
And again, healthy gut, happy life. I left my number and my email on here again if anyone has any questions. But it was great getting the chance to sit down for the Wellness Week with you guys. And do you have any questions for me? Anything else?
Yeah, let's just recoup on the dosing again.
Yeah.
Basic GI health, 1 scoop
Yep.
daily, several times a week. Does it have to? In a lot of our formulations we say take the entire bottle,
Yep.
okay, until it's done. Is that something that you should do with this? And then when do you scale up to 2 or 3 grams? Do we ever get to the 5 gram medical food mark?
So great way to explain this is, again, we launched Interrogam back in 2013, and that's going to be just 5 grams of Immunolin. Once you get to 5 grams, it's just considered a medical food and has to be by prescription. We've had a patient that has been taking this since 2013, and now every 2 day or every other day she takes half a packet. So she's taken 2.5 grams, and that's just because her body just doesn't produce these antibodies that that work to fight the bad bacteria that's causing her GI distress. So over time, you can lower the maintenance for these patients. If it's someone that's had GI distress just out the wazoo, they can take this 3 grams, take 3 scoops for 10 days, and then again, titrate down. Again, you're just going to overwhelm all the bad bacteria in there at 3 grams. And then you can titrate down to just that 1 gram a day, and it'd be great for them, or every other day. It just depends on the patient.
And for kids, we know it's safe for kids.
Yep. Pediatric trials.
Yep.
That I can share.
1 gram, the 1 scoop for kids, right?
Yep.
Good.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. That is awesome. This is we've been promoting this, and I'll tell you what, we're getting testimonials already on this product.
That's great to hear.
I know Mike Gallagher. In fact, I'm going to try to get him over here for a minute because Mike has more. You know Mike, right?
Yeah. I talk to Mike all the time.
Yeah. So Mike probably has more doctors doing, getting clinical results. Mikey G, come on down. I know when he's done, he's out there. He's always helping somebody.
Yeah.
The Wellness Week's always packed. Mike's always working with someone, but he'll give us a few seconds of his expert time. We got Mac on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
IgG in the house.
IgG in the house.
Down with IgG.
Down with it. What's up?
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
He can just
Doing good.
Huh? Yeah.
Glad to hear IgG's working great for you guys.
Yeah. So, Mike, do you have any specific clinicals and things that your docs have been doing with this? Results?
So they've been using it in combination with the GI Complete.
Mm-hmm.
You get even faster results for any leaky gut issue.
Mm-hmm.
So Crohn's, colitis, cerebral bowel, Sibo. I'm seeing a lot of that in the field. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth.
Yep.
So it's a great 1-2 combination. We've been using GI Complete for years, but this just speeds it up. Like I said, I did have a case. I think I told you this the other couple weeks ago, but I had a case recently with one of my accounts, family members had a major bacterial issue, stomach situation, had really, extreme diarrhea, and reached out to me and said, "What can you do?" And I suggested going up to 5 scoops of the IgG, right? And you can do a loading dose in extreme situations like this. And this is, I would classify as extreme.
Yep.
And she was able to get it in her family's hands by 1 p.m. And by the next day, 75% better. So,
wow.
Some incredible.
That's real life.
Yeah.
Real life
world
study. Yep.
Right then and
Real
there.
world, right
I know
there.
most people see relief within 2 weeks. That's what the studies show. But it's just a fantastic formula. I'm so excited to bring it in. Thank you so much for all your.
I'm glad we could get it in your guys' hands.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll give you back to Joe.
Yeah, we're gonna finish it up.
Round
Thanks,
it
G.
up. Wrap it up.
You always got to get G in on these things because he's got the most anecdotal case or individual studies. His docs he brings in a new product, they embrace it, and they get results. So he's the GOAT for that reason. You know that. Mac, this was awesome. This is great. The product is one of the most exciting ones we brought in a long, long time. And when people get those kind of results, that's what we're here for, make the difference in somebody's life. So thank you so much.
Yeah, of
And
course.
McLean Haynes, do you like McLean or Mac?
I like McLean, but when I'm talking to
Yeah,
people, they're always like, "Is that your last name?" So I just
Mac.
go by
Yeah.
Mac now.
Okay. Sounds good. Hey, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. Keep in touch. And if we have, get any of that information over to us that you can, or your contact information, so we
Yep,
can get those things. Okay.
absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
All
Cut
right.
out the
Thanks,
middleman.
McLean
Get
Haynes.
something that goes to the
IGG,
underlying
everybody.
cause.
We've got it here at the Weiner Wellness Week. I keep saying I keep wanting to say the Weiner Wellness Week and the World of Wellness Center. So it is the Weiner Wellness Week, folks. It is at the World of Wellness, and we've got IGG here. Come on down. You want to try it? Come on down. We'll let you try it right here at the Juice Bar. All right, and
Awesome.
then we might have a little. We might have a little surprise coming up here this afternoon. We'll get it on. We'll get it on the World of Wellness Facebook page and YouTube channel if we can pull it off. If not, we'll see you all tomorrow with another great list of speakers. We're going to have at 9:00. Dr. Phil Ross is back, so the rookie sensation will be back here tomorrow at 9. His topic: how sports rehabilitation can help your everyday life, even if you're not an athlete. That's a good point. All right, let's talk about that. Then at 10, the anchor and his mentor, Dr. Gideon Orbach. Gideon's back. Topics in chiropractic adjustment, low tech rehab, and posture part 2. He's always about posture. He's been about posture even before everybody was working from home. Now, even more so. The GOAT, Mikey Gallagher, will be back. And of course, we have the Jamie and Joe roundtable coming up at 12, and roundtable discussions, spring cleanup for natural solutions in cleansing and healing with a special guest. It's a surprise. You're going to have to tune in to find out. So we'll see you back here tomorrow. We'll kick off with the opening ceremonies again at 8:30. Till then, all right, live long and prosper, everybody. We'll talk to you. We'll see you soon. If you missed any of these, just go to the Facebook or YouTube channel, World of Wellness. They're all there. We'll see you tomorrow.